This time on Roadkill, it's the take the muscle truck engine and put it in the boat, go out on the lake, take the boat engine back out of the boat, put it back in the muscle truck and go home episode.
And somewhere in there we have fun. So it's January, and because this is sunny Southern California, it's almost 80 degrees out, which means we can go boating. Where else are you gonna be able to do this? And as usual, we're gonna do this the hard way. Dave's on his way to my shop because my cousin has this old jet boat without a motor, and Dave has the muscle truck, which has an LS6 in it. We're gonna drag this to the lake. We're gonna rip the motor out of the truck, put it in the boat, go do some racing, take the motor back out of the boat, put it in the truck, drive all the way back home. It will be just that easy. This is Roadkill. Everything the hard way, even if it kills us.
Yo, that thing is cool.
Yeah, right? Check the name out.
1974 special.
You almost called it. It's a 76.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a Jeep.
Pretty much.
Oh, I like this too.
The genius of this plan here is, yes, pretty fast, pretty fast and together. Neither one of these have motor plates for an LS engine.
Is this ready?
It has motor plates for an LS. But
That's
it is,
as far as you'll go?
But it is built with some hokey stuff, like the fuel system, plumbed with Teflon line, real good. Water system, rubber hose that would hook up your washer and dryer.
It's just water.
In the 60s and 70s, there were about 40 manufacturers producing like 100 different models of jet boats.
And they all look like this?
Well, there's only 4 that run worth a damn. This is one of them.
Oh, okay.
It's old and fairly hacked up, and so, you know, it's not worth a ton of money, but you stick a halfway decent motor in it, and at the very least, it gets you and your beer to where you want to go. This is one of the few boats that you can go really fast in, and if the motor blows up, you don't get spit out of the boat.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it's safe.
I've never really been a boat guy. I don't know anything about them. I don't think I ever will be, but it's cool that I'm gonna get introduced to them right here. I'm glad he has them so that I can play with them. The boat itself though is super cool. If I had to have a boat, I would have that. It has patina, it has style, it has 70s goodness going on. I dialed that thing in on the way here, but we need to fabricate a trailer hitch because the trailer hitch company sent me 2 right-hand frame brackets instead of a right and a left. So we'll be hacking and welding.
Well, we're gonna put all the really heavy stuff that could scratch anything in the truck, because you know we just put a brand new wood bed floor in there, and that's how we're getting to the lake.
That's how we're leaving for the lake. Ready?
Yep.
Oh, am I gonna barf? Nah, I'm not gonna get seasick in the boat. I think Finnegan's gonna do everything he can possibly do to embarrass me on this trip. I imagine at some point I'll end up in the water, but I will resist. We're packing up absolutely everything that we need to get this job done. We're not gonna forget anything. Finally, we get to the actual problem here. 2 right-hand frame brackets, or maybe left-hand, not a right and left.
We will fully be maxing out my welder to put that together.
Whoa! I thought you were grabbing it too.
It's all right, this fell and distracted me.
Nice. We planned that.
It's a spoiler now.
We were destined for this.
Look at this. There's no reason for this not to happen. Everything fits.
Well, the thing with this aftermarket hitch is that if we do it like it's meant to be, the bracket hangs down so far, the hitch is gonna end up right about here because the truck is so low. I mean, literally it would be right there. So we're figuring out how to fabricate our own cross member and receiver now. To make the hitch, we had to fabricate our own cross member, make sure that we weren't welding near the gas tank so that that exploded. We also had to make it so that we could still service our fuel pump, and to do all of that, we had to unbolt the entire bed of the truck to pick it up a little bit so that we could do our fabricating.
This trailer hitch is 99.5% done. All I need now are the plates that he's drilling. We'll clamp those to the truck, weld this to the plates. Dishes are done. We're out of here.
We got these side plates done now, miraculously. All my holes that I drilled lined up perfectly. So now we have to mock the hitch in there, mark it, weld it up, bolt it together, drop the bed back down, bolt it back on, load the boat, hit the road. And it's dark outside already. I called it. Pretty soon we'll be having that conversation about, well, should we really leave tonight? Or should we just leave in the morning? I'm sure in the real world you'd like these brackets to be about this long, but this is the roadkill world where the brackets are this long, and it works perfectly. Oh,
Yeah.
man. Look at that.
Chicks everywhere are gonna want to get towed by the muscle truck now.
Wow. "7:45 in the morning, I think we're about to hit the road, and I think we might even make it all the way to Lake Elsinore. Apparently it's like 100 miles away. It's gonna rain. Perfect. I'm gonna let Finnegan drive because this thing has no brakes and I'm not crashing the boat." So not bad.
Not bad at all.
We're winning right now.
I didn't want to jinx it. I don't want to say we're gonna make it, but it's not bad.
I said we're winning right now.
Now, this moment.
Right. Can we please do a burnout with the trailer attached?
Only if you tape up the front of the boat. But yeah, we can. Can you pass me the power window operator?
It's official. The needle nose off-brand Chinese vice grip is not the way to go for the window crank. Today we're headed to a boating event known as the Tom Papp Memorial. Tom Papp was a guy who is essentially a mentor to the whole jet boat community in Southern California and had a shop where he would help out anybody and essentially not charge them for it. So when he passed away, they decided that they would meet every year to honor him, and it turned into this giant gathering where like 100 boats show up every year. We're headed to Lake Elsinore, California, which is just south of Riverside, about 70 miles from LA. And from what I hear, the place is nasty. In fact, even the locals call it Lake Smell-Some-More. The good news is that it's not that great for fishing or swimming. It's all about speedboating.
Typical roadkill fashion, I didn't think we'd actually make it this far. So I didn't call them to say, hey, we want to come change an engine in your parking lot.
Right.
But there is no sign that says, don't work on your boat, so I'm thinking that applies to trucks as well. The problem, I think, is the cameras. We probably should go in there and say, hey, can we film your establishment for the next 24-ish hours?
For the next 24 showers?
Ish hours.
Ish? Oh.
Yeah.
Well, let's go see.
Right.
So we talked to the guys in the office and said basically, hey, do you guys mind if we just work on our boat a little bit? And they're like, sure, we don't care. They had no idea what was coming. It was sort of a forgiveness versus permission program. Where do you want to do it? I'd really like to avoid dirt, but that's the road right there, isn't it?
We can put the back of the boat at the edge of the dirt.
Oh, like turn the trailer around, disconnect it, yeah.
Yeah. I wish we could film these guys because the look on their faces when they figure out what, oh, we got to do a little work to our boat is. It's going to be classic.
Why would they really care?
I don't think
We're not
they
going to
will.
put oil on the ground, much.
I know a buddy that got staph infection from this lake, so don't dive in with your mouth open. We were here for a boat race, and he was one of the guys that was helping launch boats, and he had a cut on his leg. He was in the water all day and ended up in the ER. But I love this place.
That could have been my toe. It wasn't, but it could have been. Okay.
This is the key to our success, is the portable Chinese-made and totally reliable engine hoist. This is the same hoist that went to Sparks, Nevada and put an engine in an El Camino during a snowstorm in a parking lot.
That might send a message.
You think? Is this the telltale sign? Stuff's about to get weird in their parking lot? You said you had a little bit of work to do.
We consider this a little bit of work.
Yeah, this isn't that bad.
It's only going to take a day or less. might be another clue. What's about to go down?
Oh, maybe it's just overheating.
We've got MSD atomic EFI on this thing, which is like the simple self-learning fuel injection deal. All of the electronics and everything are in here. It's just a matter of unzip tying and unplugging everything, and then we'll get it out and be able to put it back in quickly.
So this is the wiring harness that's going to allow us to quickly put that LS6 into that jet boat and run it. This will control the spark. So much wind.
Okay, that wants to puke though.
There's a drain pan right there. Dude, look at the level of containment we got going on here.
Not one drip has hit the ground yet.
This makes up for years of us ruining the earth.
All right.
Driver's side header exchange on a C10. Never happened before.
Pretty good.
Never.
The
Try
LS
that.
fits nice.
There's a lot of sand there.
I'm under here trying to undo the torque converter to flywheel bolts. And unfortunately, we've got nothing to turn the engine over with. So we're trying to rig the starter to work. There, stop. Okay, let me get one out. Ow! Oh, pinch. Oh, that hurt.
That sucks.
Yeah, I can feel the empathy.
It pains me. It troubles me to hear you speak that way.
It's only raining a little bit. I hope it gets much worse before we're done. This just stopped working.
So that oil on the floor of the truck came from the jack.
Exactly. That moment, we just won. So far, we've been pretty lucky. We haven't tried to actually hang this in the boat yet, so I shouldn't talk too soon.
These are the original mounts that actually bolted the LS6 into our truck. These will not work in our boat. Chris Starkweather over at B1 Racing in Santa Ana, California, crafted a front motor plate setup that will bolt onto the existing water pump holes and then down to the stringers of the boat. And this is how we're going to mount this thing in. See, the thing about boats is they're super easy to work on, but there are no kits for these things. You can't go online and just order a conversion set of bolts and mounts to put one of these together.
Look at this bitchin' mid-plate. This thing was made by B1 Racing in Santa Ana, California, and it's nice. I mean, look at the mill job. The problem is, this nice semicircle is an interference fit with the flex plate. Apparently they had mocked it up on an engine that had a smaller diameter flex plate, so this is hitting. And instead of letting it self-clearance, we're gonna fire up the generator and Finnegan's gonna hit it with the flap disc and create greatness out of butchery. So it fits now?
Yeah, all that grinding I did, not necessary, it was on backwards.
I didn't do that.
When you turn it around, it's just fine. Let's not focus on who did it. Let's just focus on, hey, motor goes in boat
it's
now.
Fixed.
Yeah.
Where are the dowels? I need to smash them back
they're
in.
on the ground.
Whoa, it just chipped a big piece off the main rail.
Because it's sitting on the main rail, because it can't come my way because of the starter.
Okay.
We can grab a Sharpie, we need to mark it, we need to grind the aluminum part of it. A little more. There we go. And with any luck, that's the last time we'll need the death wheel for this installation. All night now. That's not gonna piss off the neighbors. We could always stick this in the cab of the truck with the windows up.
Yeah, because the exhaust wouldn't hurt that situation. We have a couple problems going on here now. This adapter was built to be able to connect the drive shaft for the boat to the back of the crankshaft. But the problem here is that the drive shaft is completely bottomed in the jetaway, which isn't good, and our adapter won't fit in there. It's as if the crank flange has a different offset in it than it did on the engine that they mocked it up with. So we have to move the engine forward in order to get enough slip travel in the drive shaft in order to fit this in. But after that, we still need to be able to get a longer bolt. And the thing that we have discovered is this is a special thread designed by GM that does not match anything we're going to be able to get at a hardware store anywhere. Right?
That about sums it up. We're screwed. I think there's a certain level of...
All right!
And the generator's out of gas.
Can I go to sleep now?
No.
By now it's like midnight and we had no solutions other than for Mike to hitch a ride all the way back up to his shop where he was going to hook up with a guy who would machine our spacer just a little bit and more importantly, loan us 3 bolts that would go in the back of the LS crank.
The guy I wanted to race tomorrow, Mr. Nuckenfutz, has an LS powered jet boat and we robbed 3 of the bolts out of the back of his crankshaft. So now it's even. He's got 3, we have 3. I'm sure none of it will come flying apart in the middle of that race. And the guys at B1 Racing shaved 400 thou off the back of our drive shaft yoke. So now we have clearance, and this engine can stay in the boat and I can't talk anymore because it's really late.
When the drive shaft breaks, does it just go through the bottom of the hull and sink the whole thing? Because that'd be a great video.
There's a battery there.
After it saws through that, starts an electrical fire, does it do that?
Well, I figure
the good news is the electrical fire goes out when it goes underwater.
Right. I never understood why they put fire extinguishers in boats, because, I mean, let's be honest.
Water doesn't burn.
Let's be honest, you're there. You're there already.
Easy as that. Look at all that mashed whatever.
Oh my God, look at all the sand.
Wow, that's bad. This is all sand from when we took this to the dunes. If that tells you how hardcore we got out there, that's pretty legit. I don't know how we're gonna deal with it. I think that's all we got. So if we had enough sand in there, would it sort of extrude on the ports as it ran? The EFI was cool and all, but it just wasn't saying jet boat. And so, bam! Holly high ram, tunnel ram, and 2 650 Ultra double pumpers. You couldn't really have the boat without that.
Look how much bigger our engine is now.
I know.
Oh yeah, she makes 850 NA, 1200 on the bottle. Where's your nitrous? Don't worry about it.
Yeah. You know, it's got the sand, dude.
Yeah.
The what? The sand. It's the new thing.
As usual, we were dead late when we arrived at the event because we had been up all night trying to put the Rogers together. And when we showed up, the launch ramp was packed with chrome and powder-coated machines and a whole lot of people that were ready to hit the water. It's morning now, day of the event. As you can see, a lot of people here ready to have a good time. And we are not quite ready. We're close though, the carburetors are on. That's the key to life right there.
Gloriously, I was able to actually sleep 5 hours last night, which I think is gonna save us this morning because we don't have that much left to do. People are taking bets right now how long it's gonna take us to get in the water. It's 9 o'clock and he's claiming noon. And I'll say that's reasonable, which means 2.
Here's what we got left here. We've got to wire the ignition, hook up all the fuel lines, plumb the puke tank, and then put the headers on, tighten up the alternator. We're good.
Recognize this guy? He made the roll cage on our vet hat car, and believe it or not, he had a customer come into his shop and go, you know what? I need one just like that. So he duplicated that vet hat car, and it got delivered, what, yesterday?
Yeah, last night at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
In the truck, we had the atomic EFI running the ignition system, but when you put carburetors on an LS engine, you need something to trigger the coils because the GM Gen 3 engines have no distributor at all. And so there's one answer to that, which is these MSD boxes. They make 2 of them. One of them is for the early engines with a 24-tooth reluctor on the crankshaft that plugs in right here. The later engines tend to be a 58. There's some crossover years where you really got to find out which reluctor that you've got. But once you know that, you just buy the correct box, It all plugs right in, one for the left bank, one for the right bank. Then they go to some of the sensors like the crank position and the cam position. And then you have to deal with your timing. In the bottom of the box right here, there's a place you can shove a chip in that has a pre-programmed timing curve, but we prefer to go with the actual programmed curve through our laptop computer that plugs in right there.
I said we'd be done by noon. It's 11:20, giving us plenty of time to start the boat, find out that everything leaks, and work on it for another half an hour before we go on the water.
Yes! Okay.
Let's go boating.
So what are the odds this thing floats? It's been 10 years since it's been in the water. You're floating now.
Okay, pull it back out.
Go out. Apparently we have not only a small water leak, but a big gas leak. Somebody put tape around the braided hose as you normally do to keep it from fraying, but then the tape is still in there while the fitting is put together, and so it seems like it's holding the hose in a way that's making it leak out of the fitting. So we got to take that apart and try not to fill the whole bilge with gas while we're doing it.
Here's our solution. Leaky hose, bring the spare, build a new one. We'll be on the water in 10 minutes. I literally had the shakes the first time I hit the key on the Rogers. I mean, think about it. We just ripped this engine out of a truck, put it in a boat that hadn't been on the water in about 10 years, and now I was ripping across Lake Elsinore in this thing. After cruising for a bit, throwing a rooster tail, and playing it safe getting to the other side of the lake, we finally rolled into the cove, and the scene is epic. Side-by-side drag racing with boats, people hanging out on the beach having a good time. I mean, if it wasn't January, there would have been bikinis everywhere, and this would have been the best day at work ever.
Once we beached the boat and started to hang out, Finnegan broke the news. He had realized about halfway across the lake that we had actually jacked up the controller that adjusts the angle of the jet coming out of the back of the boat. It was dead flat, and apparently that means if we raced, someone was gonna die.
What we did was, we took a piece of ski rope and tied the nozzle in the up position. We didn't have any control over it, but at least now the boat would plane out and throw a rooster tail, and we could still enjoy the rest of our day, even if we couldn't go drag racing.
Instead of racing, we just decided to cruise around the lake and check out this boat that hadn't been on the water in 10 years. And you know what? It was good. We had a lot of fun. As a matter of fact, it was probably the best 2 hours of boating ever. Hard-earned.
We're out of gas.
You're kidding!
Nope.
We ran out of gas. It's all right. I feel good. Maybe eventually we'll get to the outhouse. Yeah, that happened.
They don't get the best fuel economy. I think you can rate it in single digits. Like the average jet boat goes about 3 miles per gallon, something like that. And I don't care because it's about 50 miles per gallon as far as I'm concerned.
So, paddle?
Didn't bring a paddle. We have no life vest, no paddle, no rope. Even if they could tow us,
Well, you know what that means.
we've got nothing.
We need to catch on fire because we're prepared for that.
Just sink this bitch and get it over with.
Well, I feel good.
I'm, you know what?
I was gonna do the same
Solid.
thing.
It's a good win. I think America wants to see the bottom of our feet. People outside of America probably not, but
Look at that.
Not yours anyway.
Necrotic, nasty foot. Check that out.
Eventually we'll float to land, right?
I'm not in a big hurry to take this motor out anyway. I gotta pee. Hit it. Key on. There we go.
Yeah. This is fully illegal. Refueling on the water. This is the water tank. I'm filling it up for ballast. We're gonna go wakeboarding soon.
Nice.
I'm sorry, I won't do it again, I promise.
You knew that was coming. After the boat event, we pretty much just hung out, had a lot of fun, talked to some people, which left the engine swap to the next day. And when we woke up, perfect. It's raining. But as you know, there's no glory without suffering. This is gonna be fun.
Pit area is sloppy and wet now.
I have the hard part of this job. Okay, that's good. Stop, 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 stop.
It's Sunday, the day after the Tom Papp Memorial out there on the water. Full success, that's what we had. Now all we gotta do is get that engine out of that boat, put back in that truck, the way it was before, so Dave's happy, and drive home.
It's barely drizzling right now, but the forecast says that it's gonna pour later on, and our video guys have taken the easy up so that they can keep their camera gear dry.
Alternator's a little scuffed. Who ordered ranch dressing? It's all over the alternator now. We are about to set our own personal record for removing an engine out of a jet boat. I'm calling 10 minutes this thing's out of the boat. And we have not disconnected or done anything other than getting out the tools we know we need to do the job. Prepare to be amazed.
Ready? Go!
Woohoo! Okay, fuel line is loose.
Breather hoses are off. Okay, hand it over to the transom.
Turns off.
Guide it up and over the dipstick.
There we go. Okay, what do I need to get the starter off?
Oh no.
What?
The hoist fluid. We're hosed.
No, it wasn't upside down. It'll be fine. It just takes a few pumps to get started because it's Chinese. Sorry, China.
China gets us every time.
Water line is hanging up on something.
Go.
All right, what's the time?
And out. 12 minutes, 36 seconds. We didn't do 10.
Close enough. We didn't even scratch the boat.
Nope. As it turns out, the local Walmart does not have rain gear. I had this, my pants are gonna get soaked, the rain's coming, so we're improvising.
Oh, dude, this is gonna work. I feel like Superman now. Our jet boat motor is rapidly becoming a muscle truck motor again. We got the front accessory drives on, about to put the power steering back on it, and then I think we'll put it in the truck.
Look at this. That's how much it's raining. Hey, can we do like on overhauling, where we just get like a whole crew of guys to come in here and wrap this up, and then they show us like polishing it off and driving it out?
Are you talking smack on Chip?
We are done with the cherry picker.
A little bit of water, a little bit of sand.
These rails right here, the fuel rails with the injectors that Finnegan's cleaning sand off of from our off-road excursions in the muscle truck, they just drop right in. The computer that controls the thing is in these rails. There's just a power module on the firewall, and everything plugs right in. It's basically a no-brainer installation. It looks kind of messy because we've had it on before, But these are all just plugs that go to like the crank position sensor, the cam position sensor, all the stuff that's already on the LS motor.
The home stretch.
As soon as I find the nut for the starter, I will have the headers on. Finally, it was down to the grueling end. Naturally, some of the bolts that we had taken out just 2 days before had walked away. So there were some minor nightmares, and we were burned out, but we finally got it running and hooked up the boat and headed back for home. Fixed!
Dishes are done, man. Let's go home.
This is something we had talked about doing for so long, and I can't believe we actually pulled it off. So many guys out at the lake were like, why would you even do this? Take apart a perfectly good truck, put it in the boat, the whole thing. You know what? It's because we can. I know you've never seen it before, and this was glory. And being out there on the lake was actually a lot of fun. I learned a lot about speedboats. It was great to see how the LS performed in the thing. So Finnegan finally got in his boat episode. And you know what? It was a lot cooler than I thought it was gonna be. I had a lot of fun out there on the lake. Was it really worth all the wrenching though? Not really. You didn't think we'd end without a burnout, did you?
Wake up! God, that doesn't work. That sucks. He's in a coma at all times.
What'd I miss?
Hey, quit it. We're not playing.
This is the air shot.
What?
This is why we bring the quiet dog normally.
What? I have to work. You're not helping. Go get your ball.
But for now, we're zip tying license plate right
Ready?
there.
Ready? Whoa!
You're getting
Taking you home, but I'm not going home with you.